Hi everyone, and welcome to season 8 and the first episode of Behind Your Eyes. And my guest is Anna Moro. So if you would like to introduce yourself, Anna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Maria Moro. They call me just Anna, so you guys can all call me Anna. So I am at the moment a mom of 3, and I am a transformational coach for women. And I am currently living in Europe, so in Italy, but I was born and raised in Canada. So that's just a little bit about me right now.
Yeah. Well, I always start with the same question, and that is a sincere, how are you doing?
Well, how am I doing? I'm doing wonderful. Very 2023 has been very uplifting, a lot of energy. There's been some ups and downs, but nonetheless, I'm very just energetic and happy about how I dealt with that, just looking back at how, the way I would deal with things and not. So I'm just very, very happy about how things are progressing this year in 2023. So I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Oh, that's good. Well, I've read on your Facebook page that you've struggled a lot with low confidence, fears, insecurities. So I would love to know how that first appeared in your life and then how your healing journey went from there.
Well, that's actually a really good question. Just thinking about that. So, the fears, insecurities, I suffered a lot from low confidence, a lot. But to tell you the truth, in the beginning, I was not aware of it. These words like low confidence, low self-esteem, the fears, insecurities, I have just become like friends with them, actually, because these words were never part of my life. I didn't know what that was. I don't know if a lot of your viewers maybe are resonating with that right now, as in there was a certain point where I don't know what happened. I was just aware. I started becoming aware of what these feelings were in this. And I always kind of was in a corner. I never would speak up for myself, or I wouldn't make any decisions. So I really don't know how long I was actually struggling with that. I would say for a long time, like maybe even over 10 years. But when I really realized it, when I just had this kind of like awakening awareness, it was about 5-6 years ago. And I just started questioning myself. I don't know what happened. Questioning, like, is this really it? Like, I'm a mom of 3. They're a bit older now. My kids are, one's in university, one's about to finish school and maybe go to university. And then I have a smaller girl that's about 14 years old. So they're all pretty much in a higher age. But 5 years ago, they were pretty much smaller, just in their young teens. And I just started asking myself, I'm like, well, I love what I do. I love being a mom and everything about that. It's just, but where was I? I felt like I was kind of washed away in just all the to do with the kids in the house and everything else but me. I just started asking myself, like, where's me in all this? Like me. And that was just the starting point. I just asking myself, starting to be aware. It's like, okay, I feel like I'm in everyone else's page, but I don't have my own. And so I had to start identifying that. And it took me a while because I had to struggle with myself. It was like an internal fight with me, as in, like, I started asking questions and I started going back and doing what I always would do, which was just kind of struggle and be stuck, which was very frustrating.
Yeah, it's a pattern, of course.
Yeah, looking back when how I was struggling with low confidence and the fears, a lot of that type of emotions came out for me. I wasn't sad. I was actually very angry, frustrated, anxious. They were heavier feelings for me. I wasn't calm or sad about them. I was actually very, very aggressive on that side. because I didn't know how to handle this. Out.
It's okay.
I'll just keep on going. So yeah, so what happened was that just I had this awareness point, and I just started continuously asking myself, like, what is my purpose? Like, what is it that I'm doing, and why am I feeling all this? And it really was affecting, when I started to become aware, it was really affecting not just me, obviously. It was affecting everybody and everything around me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed I decided on always having a low level job. Like, I was always complaining. I was complaining a lot at that time, complaining about everything.
Mm-hmm.
um we were struggling financially. I didn't have a really good relationship in my family. I thought I was, being a great mom, but I was being the best that I could
Mm-hmm.
because of just what I knew.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't have a relationship with my kids, and my husband too. We were very apart at the time, and so I realized that being like this wasn't serving me at all. Like, again, even my jobs, I had a lot of skills, but I never really noticed that about me. I was
Yeah.
always kind of looking outwards, looking at other people, what they had, and I didn't have, but I wasn't working on me. I
Yeah.
was just working on other people's, like, trying to do what other people were doing, or trying to meet up, like, like they say, the Joneses, trying to be like what society wants us to be. I was
Right.
busy doing everything else but being in touch with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really affecting all the important areas of my life. And one day just had enough. I
Mm-hmm.
just, one evening, usually the kids would go to sleep. It was just like a me time. And I would have like tea or something, like a coffee at night. And I was just crying because it was just so silent. I
Mm-hmm.
remember this moment because that was the moment when I said I had enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I was going to literally do something about it that
Yeah.
night, because I thought that I couldn't, there was nothing for me in this world. It was just going to be being a mom, um, nothing else. I wouldn't have a word or a space in this world. And then I just decided I would have it. Like, that's it. I just said I was going to have enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I promised myself from that night, I don't know where it came out of. It's just something inside of me. I said, from tomorrow, I'm just going to realize what I'm doing, like really be aware.
Mm-hmm.
And and so I just started doing that. I just started to be aware of myself,
Yeah,
of
but
being
that's so
aware of what
important. Yeah, because
it.
to me, all healing starts with awareness that you need healing.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's about being aware, because if we can't change what we don't know.
Exactly.
So if we're not aware of our actions, of what we're saying, of what we're doing,
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to pinpoint to start changing. So I
absolutely.
just started to be aware, but at that time I didn't even know what awareness was. I just said, I'm
Yeah.
going to look. I'm going to see what this Anna's doing all day. And um and so I was struggling with that too, because I didn't know all these words. I didn't know, mindset and working
Yeah.
on yourself. These are all things that I know now, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't in my vocabulary.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just knew I had to do something different.
Yeah.
And so I started with, internet and going online and some YouTube and doing the free stuff, because I had no idea where to start.
Yeah.
And so I started online because, as we know, Google is the biggest search engine.
Mm-hmm.
And I had asked some of my friends about, do you ever think about what you're going to do when the kids are bigger, or what are we actually doing? Are we doing something for ourselves? And they were looking at me like, what are you talking about? Right. So I
Yeah.
was trying to find a space where it was like-minded. We're going through the same kind of thoughts. Right.
Right.
And so I found that online, and then eventually I ended up working with my first coach, that she really helped me out, because I, prior to actually deciding to go with a coach, I was getting into like, okay, maybe my problem is the money, right? That was my first thought. I'm upset about money. I have financial struggles. Maybe it's going to make me happy. I'm going to get my confidence back from that. So I did a lot of things, as in jumping into these like quick, trying to get into like these quick things, like, but nothing ever worked.
Right.
They were really good programs, but my mind wasn't in there. I was
Yeah, if
just
it's still outwardly focused then, instead of inwardly focused.
yeah, it was very, very like, so that's when I decided to work with someone, when I realized that it's really coming from me.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
So it wasn't about, finding out, what financial struggle or that. I couldn't put the pieces together. And
Yeah.
so I went through a whole transformational journey, and I worked on my mindset. I worked on my internal self, which I had no idea what that was about. So when I did that, and I had to take responsibility about myself and where I was in my life, I actually got upset there, because I thought everything else, where I was in my life was because of everyone else and everything else. I thought
Right.
I was Miss Perfect me, and it was the economy, it was my husband, it was my kids were overactive, it was where I lived, it was everything else but me.
Right.
And I was never actually introduced to that when my coach said, well, you have problems there, there, and there. The only common denominator is you. And I'm like, yeah, but, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just, it's everyone else. I was getting like really agitated, because at that moment I was still emotionally imbalanced. So I did not know how to control my emotions. And I got upset. I'm like, no, it's not me. Right. I have nothing to do with this. Right.
Leave me out
And
of it.
yeah, I was like, it's everyone else. They're all, And so that's when I was introduced to that, as in take responsibility of where you are, because
Yeah.
nonetheless, we decide always, right, on where
Yeah.
we want to go, what we want to do in the moment, even though there might be a circumstance that we're living that we don't want to,
Right.
but we still decide how we're going to be in that moment. And so, but that was something new to me. And so definitely, yeah, the struggle was pretty deep. I had to work a lot on myself,
Yeah.
um, learning again, the skills of mindset, emotional balance, coming back to me, my likes, my dislikes.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely living a different, completely an exceptional life right now. I'm very blessed and happy of the journey that I have been taking and continuing on going through. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love this quote that you posted on your page that says, when you find your purpose, you find your certainty. So I would love to know if you can, yeah, explain this quote a bit for me.
that's one of my favorite quotes. So I say a lot of the time. My viewers that follow me know this. If you don't have a vision, you don't have a mission. I use this a lot, and it's the same thing as in the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people right now, when I went through my whole journey and I'm on this side now, I wanted to go back and dig through, why was I like that? What's going on? What was happening in my life? And so working with a lot of people, a lot of women especially, what I found was the common denominator was the fears, the insecurity, the low confidence, the no purpose is because we don't know where we're going. We don't know exactly what we're doing. We don't know. Well, yeah, we know who we are. My name's Anna. I'm here. But what is my true purpose? And
Right.
so that creates an uncertainty in our lives. We don't feel safe. We don't feel certain. And so it's hard to make a decision moving forward, if that makes sense, right? So
Yeah.
when I say that, if you don't have without a purpose, you don't have the certainty, right? Like when you find your purpose, you find your certainty. It's because when we know what we want in our lives, if that's in whatever area, for health, for relationships, for career, we find that balance. Everything else just falls into place.
Yeah.
And it's easier to decide today. So I always make an example a lot, like just in one of our areas, let's say health, we want to lose weight, or we can say, well, this year I want to lose weight. It's still a bit fuzzy. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have the certainty. Well, I want to lose weight. What am I going to do today? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. But when you actually put a certain, you know exactly what you want to do, it's like, no, I want to lose 10 kilos by December 31st of 2023. It's so clear. I
Yeah.
know exactly what I want to do. And so what happens is it's something just clicks in yourself, and you say right now, it's like, okay, well, what do I have to do
Yeah.
to do that? Well, I'm not walking, I'm not exercising, I'm not eating properly. So you start opening your fridge, and then maybe you start getting someone that actually can guide you, like an exercise coach that maybe or a nutritionist, and helps you there. And then maybe you go to the gym or you go for a walk, and you start setting that up. Three
Mm-hmm.
times a week I'm going to walk, and I'm going to get rid of my sugars and carbs, or whatever that is. I don't
Yeah.
know, but you start becoming specific. And
Yeah.
so by doing that, you actually start saying yes to certain things and no to others, because if you're investing in yourself with a coach that's guiding you nutritionally and exercise, you go out with your friends, you're going to have a salad maybe in some lean chicken, instead
Mm.
of having like a burger with, like, you start saying, no, I'm investing in myself, this is what I'm doing to get healthy. And so you're able to stay in an environment and be actually like Teflon, that's what I use a lot, and do those things and say yes and no at certain moments.
Yeah.
So finding your purpose is finding your certainty. And that's
Yeah.
what happened to me, is that when I became aligned with myself and my purpose, I went through the journey just to get clear with me, because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a better relationship with my husband. I wanted a better relationship with my family. I wanted more abundance in my life. On the other end, I ended up realizing that my purpose was to help others,
Mm.
um, to get on anywhere as much as possible, to get my message out and saying, at my age, I'm 44 now, and this all happened around 39 years old. And and so I thought that, what am I going to do? All that was going through me, the whole journey that I went through, that it's possible at any age,
Mm-hmm.
at any stage or any age of your life, you can find and redefine your purpose again and gain your certainty and move forward.
Mm.
And so that's what I found out. And ever since I've gotten so clear with myself and find my purpose, I'm so clear in my life. I'm so focused. I'm so determined. I'm like I'm consistent, and
Mm-hmm.
not because I have to be forced to be consistent. It's just a part of me. And
Yeah.
it's just so easy when you find your purpose
Yeah.
and have that internal balance. And so that's where the certainty comes, because I'm just so confident now, because I know exactly what I want to do.
Mm.
And so I want to help others, and I do want to be an amazing mom, and I'm working on my relationships in my family, and I'm still working with my career, with my coaching, and I know exactly what I want to do. And it's just about organizing it, scheduling it, and taking the steps that I need to get towards that.
Yeah.
And so that's all it really means, is that when you find your purpose, you find that certainty.
Mm.
in so, but it's going in to find yourself. So it's not about finding externally, it's about working on yourself. And a
And why
lot
do
of
you
us
think,
don't.
sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
why do you think it's so essential for especially women to find their purpose and live their purpose?
Oh, beautiful question. Yeah, I think it's so important. I'm so passionate about this, because I find, just especially with women, society, the roles that I call them roles that we play, I guess, that has been put upon us, that women are supposed to be. It's like there's never enough more that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of society has put this pressure that we can, on our plate, we can juggle so many things.
Right.
And so almost being like a good woman is almost saying that I can do all these things. I can work, I can be a home mom, I can be all of these things. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we are very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And most of the times we're just humans as well. We don't have any super, like, I think we're super as in women, but we don't have all these like spidey web superpowers. And I think that's where we become exhausted, overwhelmed, and we lose ourselves because what we're doing is always for someone else. Maybe our boss at work, our family at home, our partner that we have, maybe, our parents, maybe our religion or the culture. And there's just so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And so we lose ourselves. We
Yeah.
literally lose ourselves. And I find that a lot of women then, when it comes to this awareness, it's like, what's my purpose? What's going on? I feel like I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's hard to get out of that because you almost the guilt trip, as in you don't want to um like offend or
Mm-hmm.
change what you've been doing with the people that you have around you, right? And you
Yeah.
kind of go into this safety box, as in, okay, well, I kind of been doing this up until now, and then you just kind of keep on going and pursuing your life, um happy but not happy, because
Right.
you most of the times women aren't happy what they're doing. They
Mm-hmm.
just kind of settle and make these comfortable excuses that they have and just say, wow, this is just what it is, and I'll just keep on going the way it's, coming
Mm.
out to be.
Right.
And so it's so important for women to redefine themselves. We have such an important role, in ourselves, though,
Mm-hmm.
redefining who we are as the person. Like, who am I looking through the lens of these eyes when, I'm here with you, or, when I'm being like, I'm a mom, or I'm coaching, or, when I'm helping kids, in my area, in my community, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm very busy with other projects as well in the community. And who am I looking? Who is that person
Right.
from that lens? So
Mm-hmm.
what I do now is, it's not anymore other people. It's always me first. I'm always looking through the lens of Anna. Anna is here. Anna is present. Anna, it's Anna that's putting in the energy. It's not anymore um, from an external. It's coming from an internal.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's really, really important at this point in stage of our lives, at any stage, could be your
Yeah.
20s, your 30s, your 50s, your 60s, to have a definition for yourself and to
Yeah.
retune with yourself. And we change, we change our likes and dislikes with
Yeah.
age, with circumstances of a life itself, right?
Yeah.
But we always need to come back to us and redefine, where are we going? Why?
Yeah.
Why are we deciding to do that or not that?
Yeah.
And always be in touch in what we like and what we don't like, and
Yeah.
serve ourselves first,
Yeah.
because we're going to lead an unhappy life, and it becomes unhappy in all areas.
Mm. Yeah. It's like
And
a
that's
constant reconnecting to your own values.
Yes, and when we connect to our values,
Mm.
we define more values in our areas. And
Yeah.
so this is what I've been sharing a lot with other women, is that everything is important, as long as, depending how important that you make it to you, but what's more important is you inside of it. Who
Yeah.
are you being? Who are you in the midst of all of this, in the journey that you're pursuing?
Mm.
And I've also filtered out that a lot isn't really doing too much,
Mm.
isn't actually beneficial. Doing less is more.
Yeah.
Doing more for me is less. And it's really more about quality, not quantity anymore.
Mm.
Just doing those 3, 4 things that are really quality to me. And that's, for me, the areas more important is my family, my health, um, also my finances, like my career, my coaching, and 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 just really my community. I
Mm.
help a lot in the community, and it's really important for me. That's just one of my areas that I really like to help as much as possible, but always in a balanced way.
Mm.
Always, making sure I have the boundaries there in every place. And
Yeah.
so it's a lot of communication. It's a
Mm.
lot of communication, a
Yeah.
lot of coming back and forth, communicating with my family, with my, with my husband, with my kids, with my mom, the most important people, my friends, and my in my life. Who are those most important people in my life?
Mm.
But it's very, coming back to the question that you asked, it's very, very important for women to come back to you and to
Mm.
redefine who you are, and everything will fall into place and change, because once we are certain of who we are and what we want in our lives,
Mm.
everything else just comes along. It's just so much easier to decide and to say yes and no, to move forward, to have a boundary and step back.
Mm.
And this is what I found in my experience, in my journey, is the more I get to know myself, and everything else just comes into place. And I have really redefined these important areas in my life, and I'm living an amazing life right now, really an exceptional life. So
Yeah.
I'm just so happy about it.
Do you see self-care as something that is an empowering tool for women to use in their daily life?
Oh yes, definitely.
Mm.
We need to self-care is something I never did. Again, these words, self-care, self-love, I had no idea what they were,
Mm.
and the importance that it was in my life, because I thought always giving and doing for others was at the end, almost like filling up my cup, as in that doing for others was going to be that self-care for me. But
Okay.
then I was finding it not fulfilling. I'm
Mm.
like, I love doing things with my family. I love being in the community, but something it wasn't what I was doing. Everything everyone was asking for from me
Mm.
wasn't coming from me. I really didn't want to do it that way. I didn't feel connected with me.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was everyone's to-do list, and everyone just kind of throw me this list to do, and I would be like running around and
Yeah.
doing all these things. So self-care is very important. It gives you time to acknowledge you, appreciate you, give yourself time for you, and you don't put yourself last on the list.
Mm.
It's always you first on the list. And it's not the things that you do for others that is self-care. It's actually what that is for you.
Yeah.
Um, Whatever that could be is, self-care could be meditation, self-care could be, going to the salon, self-care could be, but just that moment that's you,
Mm.
that's just for you.
Yeah.
And reconnecting with yourself and giving yourself time just for you. It's very, very important. It builds your self-confidence. It builds in your, I call it the self-worth bucket.
Mm.
um, because when our self-worth is down, we're not going to move forwards. We're not going to be intentional in our lives. We're not going to take action in our lives. We're going to play small in our lives, and we don't have that sense of, confidence again to make a decision
Mm.
or do something different in our lives. We kind of just get wiped away with whatever life throws at us,
Yeah. And do
right? And
you
we
have a
don't.
favorite way of self-care?
Sorry,
Do you have a
can you
favorite way of self-care?
do I have a way of self-care like my own?
Yeah.
So for me, the self-care for me is, yeah, the first thing I do
Mm.
is me in the morning. So
Mm.
the first thing I do is me first, which before was I would get up and everything else was everyone else. The
Mm.
laundry, drive up my daughter there, or whatever was needed, everyone else's needs but my own. So I I blocked out a time for me. I literally block it out. Like,
Mm.
it's intentional. I have it scheduled in my Google Calendar. You can write it out wherever you want, but I do everything intentionally. And I have a moment where it's just me. There's nobody awake. I love that silence. That's what self care is for me. Just that moment of silence. I turn on some candles. I put on some soothing music. I make my cup of tea, and I have all the lights off. I'm just at my kitchen table, and just a moment of silence, of deep breathing, of appreciation. I have some affirmations that I use, and I just talk to myself of, you know, really appreciating who I am, my capabilities, and I just close it off. But that for me is my self care
Mm.
moment. And I don't only do that because once you actually get like really you embed it in your life, you just want more of it.
Yeah.
So I have blocked out other times in my day, like in the afternoon. I go for like my self-care is going for a walk because I just really intentionally want to keep on track with my health. And so I'm lucky I have some mountains here, whatever that is for anyone else. But for me, I just want to be in touch with nature.
Mhm.
So then I go out for a walk. Later in the evening, I have before I go to sleep just a moment for me. And for me, that's what it is.
Mhm.
Other people might be, I started out way back, um, 5 years ago having bubble baths,
Mhm.
which a lot of people are like self-care is
Mhm.
not that, but it was just the thing that I would close myself in the washroom and have that moment for me and really soak up like that moment and talk to myself
Mhm.
at the highest level and saying all beautiful things to me. So that's my routine, is just the first thing I do is me. And it's a meditation, it's a silent moment. And I just read out a lot of affirmations and I say a lot of empowering words to me, to myself, about my capabilities and my skills. And
Mhm.
then I continue doing that in the day. I block out another 10 minutes in the afternoon and 10 minutes before I go to sleep and just we go back to that silence and that appreciation of
Mhm.
myself. So that's what I do for me
Mhm.
for self-care.
Nice. Well, my final question is also always the same, and that is, when are you at your happiest?
Well, this is a really good question actually. And I'm going to answer it the way I feel like I kind of understood it. When am I at my happiest? Yes. So here's the thing. A lot of us have this roller coaster of emotions, and this is the way I used to be as well. And I used to be like really happy and then really down, really happy and then really down. And once I have learned to work on myself and really learned to know who I am, and I
Mhm.
started listening to me, I started taking action on me. I don't have those um, moments anymore
Mhm.
of high and low. I'm more or less happy all the time. I do
Mhm.
have moments, you know, we all have those moments like I'm off, I'm sad. But it's not like before where I would be like exaggerated, like the drama queen, really upset, really frustrated. I acknowledge, I focus on the solution. That's what I do. I acknowledge it. I don't wipe it under the carpet.
Mhm.
And I realize that something's triggered me. What's going on? I call it, I dissect it. I'm like, what's happened? And then I find the solution. Okay, let's move forward
Mhm.
because I don't want to stay stuck. That's my goal, always to not stay stuck. So my happiest moment is just, it's just, I don't have like that like kind of imbalance anymore. I'm always happy. I love this. I love being connected with other women. I love sharing my message. I love being with my family. I love all the moments that I'm creating.
Mhm.
So right now in my life, that I'm intentionally creating my days, my moments with my kids, the moments that I have with my coaching and my clients. I'm just over the moon for that. But
Mhm.
it's always a stable emotion. So
Yeah.
I'm just right now constantly happy. I'm just very energetically pleased with my life and pleased the way, like, not even pleased, I just really happy about how I'm creating this in my life. And I sometimes I look back like this over my shoulder and I'm like, oh, that Anna, and just, looking at my journey and my steps. So again, I don't have that roller coaster because of this interconnection that I have and
Mhm.
that I've gone through the mindset journey and the all my limiting beliefs and just working on myself.
Mhm.
And so I'm pretty much, I feel like I'm always kind of on a high level.
Yeah.
And so my happy moments are these, are just being who I am, able to share my message, being online, um, able to help other women again in my family and just living my life at the highest level. So this is just amazing. This is like my happiest moment is just right now all the time. So
Mm, awesome. Thank you so much for this conversation. I'm sure it will help a lot of women who see it. So thank you very much.
thank you for having me here, and I hope this really has helped a lot of women um, see what's possible and that it doesn't have to be complicated,
Mm,
and it's just really comes back to you. And we can't change anything else, we can't change anybody but ourselves.
mm,
And so it really starts from us, and anything and everything that you're looking for to change or have in your life, it's just really up to you.
mm.
It really comes from you. So I hope this has really, really helped all your viewers and who's listening, and thank you very much.
Thank you.